Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I'm going to discuss about introduction to business analytics. Right, so this is for management 555 MGT 555. So let's begin for introduction. What is business analytics? Business analytics is the action of transforming data into effective business decision. Right, so when we have a data, so we need to transform it to a readable and means that effective means people when we see the result, so people can understand for a business decision. So we can make a easy business decision by looking at the data that we already organized and analyzed properly. Right, it's a schematic method of processing data to make a good business decision. Right, so this process involves understanding the nature of data. This is very important part, which is we need to understand before we analyze the data. So we need to understand the nature of the data, whether the data is a skewed distribution or normally distribution, or what are the type of the data. Is it a qualitative data or quantitative data, numerical data or categorical data? We need to understand the nature of the data. And by using a qualitative and quantitative methods of inquiring to analyze the data. So we need to use the method of quantitative and qualitative to analyze the data. And the third process is to employing suitability technology to produce reliable and meaningful output. Means that nowadays we have a lot of technological tool such as Microsoft Excel, IBM Cognos, SPSS, and then we have SAS, R, Power BI, Tableau, and so on. So we have a lot of technological tools to transform our data to meaningful output, right? The next process, the last process that involved in the business analytics is presenting data in its simplest form that can assist business to make sound decision. So people like to see a very clean result, very clean presentation. So then we can take that result and data to make our business decision, right? This is a part. This is very crucial thing that we need to understand in business analytics, right? So the application example of application in business analytics is, for example, pricing, setting price for consumer and industrial goods, government contracts, and maintenance contracts. This is about one of the example of application. Customer segmentation, which is identifying and targeting key customer group in retail, insurance, and credit card industries. Merchandising, determine brand to buy, quantities and allocation. Right, this is part of application in business analytics. Location to find best location for bank branches, NTM, or where to service industrial equipment. So the finding of the location is very important in business analytics to minimize our cost and maximizing the profit, right? And social media application is to understand trend and customer perception, right? This is about it's kind of about sentiment analysis, right? And then assist marketing managers and product designer. So by understand the trend and customer perception, so we can assess or can do a strategic marketing and product sales, right? So this is one just an example of the application of business analytics, right? So let's look at the evolution of business analytics. So there are pre-industrial era, and digital era, right? So what are the pre-industrial era? The pre-industrial era where the data are recorded on manual basis, right? So there are no technological tool exists yet. So the data was not thoroughly engaged in making business decision. However, the element of business analytics exists way back then as business engage with the data. So this is an informal part of decision making lah, because the element of data set, so the dependent of the data is quite minimal, but based on experience to make a decision in business, right? So the next evolution, which is industrial era. So in industrial era, it start usage of the data is start being utilized, but the usage of data was very limited. Still, there are no technological available to share the data. There are no cloud technology yet. There are no advanced machine to compute the data, and the data again still collect manually, right? So this is in industrial era. So analytic was made to advise business on how to secure competitive advantage, right? And the last evolution, which is digital era, which is nowadays starting from 1970s, computer are widely used, right? The machine are keep on evaluating, then keep on improving. So the process of data collection and processing was known as business intelligence. So business intelligence, basically, we just want to present the data, describe the data, and we make a decision based on the description of the data. So it involves the information system and business analytics as well, right? So the scope of business analytics depend on three types, right? It's divided into three types. So first type is the descriptive statistics and descriptive analytics. The second one is a predictive analytics, and the last one is prescriptive analytics. These three types of scope business analytics are thoroughly discussed in data science, and the first one is descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is the use of data to understand the past and the current business performance, and it make informed decisions. So based on the description of the data, based on the mean, the average, the mode, then median, standard deviation. So we make a useful of this result to make decision on business performance, right? So predictive analytics is to predict the future by examining the historical data. So just based on the historical data, and we try to forecast what will happen on the next and future, and we will detect the patterns and relationship of this data, and then the extrapolating of this relationship will be forward in time, right? So this is a kind of predictive analytics. There are a lot of predictive analytics available, such as time series analysis, regression analysis, gradient descent, machine learning nowadays are very popular, right? And the last one is a prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics is to identify the best alternative to minimize and maximize some objective, such as we want to minimize the cost, maximize the profit. So this is kind of a prescriptive analytics. So there must be provided a lot of options or alternative to be chosen, right? To choose the best minimum cost and to choose the best maximum profit of the strategies, right? So example, let's say we look at example, retail markdown decision. So most department stock clear seasonal inventory by reducing price. This is the problem, right? Key question, when to reduce the price and by how much to maximize the revenue, and we need to be careful that we are not in making loss. So the potential application of analytics is consists of these three scope of business analytics, which is uh, descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. So for descriptive analytics, we need to examine the historical data for similar products, which is price, including price, units sold, advertising, costs, and so on. So we need to consider all these expenses, right? And to conclude how much we want to reduce the price, right? And we still making a profit, not making a loss. So in predictive analytics, we need to predict sale based on price. So when the price reduce this much, what is the predictive of forecasting sales, right? And the last one is prescriptive analytics. We need to find the best set of pricing and advertising to maximize the sales revenue. And maximize sales revenue, maximize the profit, minimize the cost. That is the key important part on the prescriptive analytics. So in data analytics, business data analytics, we have a lot of software, such as I mentioned just earlier. So such as IBM Cognos Analytics, SAS Analytics, Tableau software, Power BI, Microsoft Excel, and nowadays we have a lot of software that support for our business analytics. And there are also a lot of free software such as R software, Python, C++, Java, and so on, right? So this is a kind of example of software support for business analytics. For IBM Cognos, we have integrated business intelligence and planning solution to design, meet the needs of a mid-sized company, provide reporting, analyzing, dashboard, scorecards, planning and budgeting and forecasting capabilities lah. So this is the capabilities of IBM Cognos Analytics. They can do a lot of things, but it will cost you some money to buy the software, right? SAS Analytics is a predictive modeling and data mining, visualization, forecasting, optimization, and model management, statistical analysis, text analysis, and more. So this is the SAS Analytics is more on the predictive modeling, right? And Cognos Analytics is the combination of these two, predictive modeling and descriptive analytics. Right. For Tableau Tableau software is a simple drag drop tool for visualization data from a spreadsheet to another database. So basically, a Tableau software is, if you look at the basic Tableau software, is for a data visualization and data management, right? So how we're going to manipulate the data is a part of, we can do in Tableau, but we need to have an add-in function on Tableau, right? It's very good visualization platform, right? We can do a lot of data presentation and especially on dashboard, right? So in Tableau is very powerful, but the weakness of Tableau is we need to pay for the service, right? So there are a lot of unpaid service, or means that the free tools that are available, such as R software, RStudio. R and RStudio is a complement, is an idea of R, and Python also can do business analytics. They can do all things, descriptive, predictive modeling, and prescriptive analytics. Right, this is a free software, but it requires some skill on programming. So if you want to use a free software, you need to add in your knowledge on programming, right? So data for business analytics, there are two types of terms that we need to understand. First is data, and another one is information. So data is a numerical, textual, facts, and figure that are collected through some type of measurement scale as a measurement process. So data is something that we measured. So such as a data means that let's say we want to measure height. Height is your variables, and the value inside height is the data 164.5 centimeter, 172.5 centimeter is called as data. And data can be divided into two types: qualitative data and quantitative data. Right? Quantitative data means numerical data. Qualitative data means non-numerical data. Non-numerical data means categorical data such as gender, male and female, ethnicity, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and so on. Right? Information. So result of analyzing data, that is extracting meaning from data to support evaluation and decision making. So the result of analyzing data we call as information. So how we present the data, such as in using a bar chart or pie chart or in a tabular form, is called as information. So this information is used to support our evaluation and decision making in business analytics. Right? Then let's look at the scale of measurement. As we know, just now, as I mentioned, we have two type of data. So qualitative data and quantitative data. So under quantitative data, we have two type of measurement, such as interval and ratio for quantitative data. For qualitative data, we have two type of scale of measurement, which is nominal scale and ordinal scale, right? So all we have four major level of measurement scale, right? So let's look at in nominal scale. Nominal scale is a level of measurement that classifies data into categories which has no numerical value, no ordering or no ranking. So remember, let me clear this information, right? So we need to remember we have data. From data, there are two types of data. First is qualitative, another one is quantitative, right? So for qualitative, we have two type of level of measurement. First is nominal and second is ordinal. And we need to understand qualitative data is a categorical data, is non-numeric data. So it takes only categorical data. So nominal and ordinal is a categorical data. So nominal scale is a categorical data, classify data into categories that takes no numerical value, no ordering, no ranking, such as gender. We have male and female. We cannot rank male and female, right? We cannot say male first, second is female, or female first, second is male. So that is the definition of nominal scales, right? Another example of nominal scale is such as a brand of mobile phone. We have Samsung, Huawei, Nokia no more. Lagi apa? Oppo, Vivo, Apple, and so on. So we cannot rank this brand, and we cannot give the order, right? Gender, ethnicity, marital status, and so on lah. So remember, nominal data, nominal scale of data lies under qualitative data, is a categorical data. So another type of scale of measurement, which is ordinal scale. Ordinal scale lies under qualitative data. So under qualitative data, we have ordinal scale. Ordinal scale is a categorical data. So it classifies data into categories which can be arranged in order. So you can arrange this data, or we can rank the data, the categorical level, right? So if the categorical level can be ranked, so it lies under ordinal data. So example of ordinal data, such as let's say we can say the committee punya committee means we have president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So the first should be president, second is vice president, third is secretary, and followed by treasurer. So it should be in order. Right, so when the categorical data should be in order, it lies under ordinal scale, right? So let's say course grade ranking system in term first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. And we also have Likert scale: strongly agree, agree, natural, disagree, strongly disagree is lies under ordinal scale, right? And then we have a ratio scale. Let's look at, so we have interval scale and ratio scale. So under we recall back, we have data. Under data, we have two type of data: qualitative data and quantitative data. So for quantitative data, we have two scale of measurement, which is interval scale and ratio scale. So these measurement are numerical scale. So numerical scale means that something that we can the data is get from measurement or count. So the difference between interval and ratio. So interval and ratio both are numerical scale, but the difference is, for interval scale, the value of 0 is not a true 0. What is the meaning of not true 0? Means that, for example, let's say temperature 0 Celsius means that takat beku kan. Kalau if we say 0 Celsius, 0 Celsius doesn't mean that there are no temperature. It means that there are temperature, but 0 means takat beku lah, right? So means that there are not a meaningful 0, right? So the 0 value is not a true 0. For example, another example such as date, right? We don't have 0 date, right? So we don't have 0 date means it lies under interval scale. If for ratio scale is a numerical data, but the 0 value is a true 0. Means that if you say you have no money, means that you have no money, you have empty money. If your score is 0, means that you earn 0 point in your score, right? That is the difference between interval and ratio. So next we move to example of data source and uses. So we can get the data from annual report, accounting audits, financial profitability. Then we can get from a marketing research, operation management performance, human resource measurement, and web behavior. So all of these are example of data source. We can get the data from this source, right? So now let's look at the term of data set and database. Data set is a collection of data. We have a set of data collection, such as, let's say we are collecting data of employee information. So employee information, we should have a name of the employee, the staff ID, the department, how many years they have been worked there, and then the salary lagi, pangkat lagi, dia punya rank. Semua tu, a set of this information we call as a data set, right? So marketing survey response, a table of historical stock price, a collection of measurement of dimension of a manufactured item. So this is what we call as a data set. Database is a collection of related file containing record on people, place, or things. Means that when you go to the human resource department, when you ask about employee information, they will get the data from their machine. So the data stored in the machine called as a database, right? The data stored in the cloud also called a database, right? So we store the data into somewhere we call as a warehouse of data. So means that a room of data location. So this is what we call as a database, right? So this is example of data, right? So a sales transaction database file. So this is for customer ID. You can see we have a customer ID, region, payment, transaction code, source, amount, product, and time of days, right? So all the rows, right, we call as a record, right? each column we call as attribute, right? So this is the entities, right? So in database we call it, this is the whole things we call as entities. Each column we call as attribute or features, right? Region, payment, customer ID, transaction code, this is what we call as features. All the value inside the features we call as record for every row, right? So let's look at the big data. Big data. Nowadays, they're very famous on big data. Big data is referred to a massive amount of business data from a wide variety of sources, much of which is available in real time and much of which is uncertain or unpredictable. So big data nowadays is very famous term, and everybody are dealing with the big data. For example, even a retail shop such as kedai runcit kan pun menggunakan big data, because every day there are a lot of customer purchasing goods in their shop, right? So all of these transaction, if they keep track, so it's going to be very big data, right? Big data can be characterized into four definition, which is volume, verity, velocity, and veracity, right? So let's look at the four V's in big data. Volume means that they have very large data, right? Very large data, scale of data very large. Velocity means the analysis of streaming data. The data is keep on coming, then and the real data is necessity, right? So the verity is a different form of data. Sometimes we have text data, we have a numerical data, categorical data, and so on, right? So, and veracity is uncertainty of data, means that we cannot really identify the data is valid or not, because this is very big data. We just accept the data, right? So the last part of this lecture is a model in business analytics. So model in business analytics is abstraction of or representation of a real system, idea, or object. Right? It captures most important features. Right? In the model of business analytics, it captures most important features. It can be written, the result of the model means the result of the business analytics can be written in verbal description. Verbal description means you just write the text describing the information that you have found or the result that you have found. A visual representation, you make a bar chart or pie chart, you make a visual representation lah. And the last one is a mathematical formula. From a model, we derive a mathematical formula to do a prediction or prescription of your business problem, right? So I think that's all for introduction for business analytics. I hope if you have any question, you can raise the question in the group, or you can leave the question down here, right? I think that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.